3D Cobra Acrylic Nail Art Tutorial by Hotpinkzebrapolish.
Hi everyone, in today's video I'm going to be showing you this pretty simple but very striking looking cobra design. And so it's just yellow and black, is basically, there's a little bit of red in his mouth, but it's pretty much just yellow and black on a clear nail, and the tail of the cobra wraps around the tip of the stiletto, which is kind of my favorite element of this design. So the snake wraps around the nail, so there's the little snaky details on the back side too, which is really cool. And in general, this design is fairly simple, so I think just it looks really cool, and it's kind of one of those designs that you kind of go, wow, look at that. So I hope you guys like it, and don't forget to click subscribe to see all my future videos as well.
So to start with, I'm going to begin with an overlay of clear acrylic just over the entire nail. I really wanted this snake to look like he's just wrapped around a fingernail, and I didn't want any other distractions on it. So I kept my background completely clear. Plus, I liked that on the tail, you could see through the nail and see the whole tail wrap around it, and I thought that was a really cool effect. If you didn't want to have an entirely clear nail, the other thing that I would recommend doing is having, say, like a cover pink or something, just to cover up your nail bed if you don't like the look of having the clear entire nail. And then you could just sort of fade that down and then fade the clear up, so you have a clear cover ombre sort of thing going on. So after I have that entire thing done, I'm going to be filing the nail into shape, and I started out with a pretty coarse bit to remove any bulk or lumps or bumps or any major issues, and then a much finer bit just to make sure that it's really smooth, and that's going to help with the clarity of the nail, because those little scratches, they make it foggy, just a little bit foggy. It doesn't show too much, and not something that you would be able to just look at and see and say like, oh yeah, that's scratches. It just doesn't make it look quite as nice. So just do that, it helps. And then with yellow acrylic on a nail form backing, I'm going to be sculpting my snake's tail. So you want it to have just an ever so slight bend in it. So not quite like an L shape, but just a little bend. So that's where the body, this part that's coming down and is the longer section of the snake, is the part that's going to wrap around on the nail. The other part is the part where he just is kind of like sitting up a little bit. So when that starts to set and you can pick it up with your brush, slide your brush underneath it, pick it up and set that little part that's bent onto your nail where you want, where you want the start of his raised appearance to be, and then wrap the rest of it around. If you are wearing a glove, you can definitely do that with your fingers like I did. Otherwise, if you aren't wearing a glove, I wouldn't really recommend touching the acrylic. You could use something like some silicone tools to help you out with that, or just throw a glove on, it works as well. So then I'm going to be fixing up the shape of my snake, because when you pick it up and wrap things around, it's not going to be perfect. So I'm just going to take some more yellow acrylic and touch that up, as well as lengthen that part that's going up. And then with more yet yellow acrylic, I'm going to be adding the two sides of the hood. So these are very similar to making yellow petals. So just set down that little bit of yellow acrylic, sort of get it into that starting shape, and then with the belly of your brush, just press it out so that the tip of it is down a little bit further than the back of the brush, which gives it that nice increase as it goes out. And now I'm going to be adding the top part of his head. So because his mouth is open, he's got this bigger, his nose is like sticking out a little bit more, and he's got that little lip. So that's what I'm doing now. So just kind of slide your brush underneath it and flick it up to create that little like mouth part, and then add his lower jaw going down. This is kind of similar to making a petal. Just set the bead down and then press it out to get that little indent in the middle and then the thicker edges on it, just like that. And then I'm also going to just kind of blend it so that it doesn't look like his head and his hood are separate. It looks like they are attached to each other. They're part of the same critter. So just kind of continue that down and around and then blend it into his head. Just like that. And then do the same thing for the other side. And all of this is yellow acrylic, so don't mind. If you don't have yellow acrylic, there are so many different colors. I mean, you could really play with the colors here on your snake and do all sorts of things. The only thing on my snake that isn't sculpted with yellow acrylic are his fangs, and those are with white. So set down your bead of white acrylic, split it in half with your brush. That's the easiest way, I think. And then just kind of pull it down. So make sure your acrylic isn't too dry so that it won't pull. So just, yeah, like I said, make sure your acrylic's not too dry. Then with yellow paint, I'm going to be doing just a tiny bit of painting under his chin, just to sort of separate out the chin from the body, because otherwise it just blends in really pretty much entirely. So if you do that, it just kind of separates it. And now everything else is going to be black paint for a while. So the sides of his body, or his back, is pretty much black, and the tummy is pretty much yellow. So as you can see, I kind of made him like he's twisted shaped. So just kind of continue that line down alongside like he's tilted up, and that also is going to help with that, like he's raised up and he's got his hood up and he's all feisty. And then add some black stripes and some different things on the body. I know I missed part of that. On the tummy that you do see, you don't want to add a whole bunch of little skinny black lines just to kind of create the little ridges and the panels on his stomach. And then add the stripes going down his back. There are little bits of yellow on the back. It's not just solid black. So do include, you know, kind of almost like making little dashed lines, little squares. Just like that. And then taking a little bit of white paint. Oh, not quite yet. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Oh, you're also going to need to add the details with black on his face. So to start out with the hood, I'm going to begin with just kind of like a dashed scaly line going right along that ridge. And then with diluted black, I'm going to add a little shadow on the hood so that it does show up, kind of like the same thing I did with the yellow for between the chin and the neck, just because you want, you know, everything's the same colors. So you want it to actually show up as different things. Add some more little scales on the hood to define some of these. He's very patterned. They're very interesting looking. Then with white paint, add the little highlights on the fangs. And then going back with black, I'm going to be adding his eyes, which are right under that hood ridge. So there's the second one, and then a couple little outlines around the face, around the nose, and then kind of down the center of the face. And some more of those little kind of dabbing lines, almost like you're doing pointillism. And then fill in the mouth with red, and then add some more little black lines around the chin, just a little bit. Add some highlights in the eyes with white. And then some highlights here and there just on the body with white, just to kind of brighten it up and make it look a little bit more detailed. A couple of lines on that black stripe on his tummy. And then add his little snaky tongue with black. And then I'm going to be applying a layer of gel sealer over the background. Like I said, I want the nail to be very clear so you can see that tail wrapping around it from every direction, and there's no question that he's a snake that's curled around this nail. So continue that down. If you want to, you can also apply gel sealer to the underside of the nail. That's kind of an optional thing. And then also apply matte top coat over the snake, which for whatever reason I missed recording, so I apologize. But that is it. I think this guy, like I said in the intro, is just very striking, and it could definitely be a very cool element in a whole set. So if you guys decide to do this, please share recreations with me. I would love to see them. I actually like snakes, so I'd really like to see them. And I will see you in my next video. Bye!